it was more anecdotal, perhaps.
Right. Anecdotal, I'll come back to that word in a second. How did I feel about going back? By the time I went back to Calcutta, and before that, I said to you earlier, I knew that the phase in which it had impacted on me was over. I knew that. Secondly, I knew I was an outsider. But then I'm an outsider in other parts of the world as well. I'm not part of any family of people anyway. I knew I was an outsider, and this came to me from the way Bengalis spoke to each other anecdotally about not just the lanes and lanes in which they grew up and the families they belonged to, but the teachers from whom they learned, not only in school but in university. And this anecdotal talk was a barrier for me from ever entering the city. So my position in that city was to feel and live a life with my immediate family as an outsider to the history of the city, which these people had partaken of by growing up there, their networks and their anecdotes. So as far as how do I feel otherwise about being there, is that what you were asking? Does nothing happen? Is anything going to happen there? There is a sense of despair because the populism of the left government towards in its last kind of 15, 20 years has been further consolidated by the Trinamool government. However, there's another sense of anxiety and despair that if the Trinamool government fails, then the next party to come in is the BJP. So that's another source of anxiety. When I was thinking of going back or coming back, I just wanted to leave an ethos of silence behind. The West, for me, primarily I identified with silence, with a kind of order and orderliness, which is exemplified by me not hearing, having no background to my hearing, which is my experience in India and in Calcutta. So I was missing car horns and crows, and that I think again goes back to the addiction, the nostalgia for modernity, which I mentioned right at the beginning. So I was not missing other aspects of life. I was missing the kind of more disruptive aspects of modern life, which had been ordered in such a way in the West that you could no longer partake of them through your subconscious. Because the subconscious is alive through hearing. You can look at what you choose to, but you can't hear what you choose to. Anything will come into the realm of your, auditory consciousness. Anything will impinge there. This is what I was missing deeply. And I could have, I suppose, come back to Bombay as well, but I couldn't afford a property here. And Calcutta, I'd always loved that city, although I knew it was no longer the city. So, yeah, that's why I made my way back. I understand where you're coming from, and we feel that kind of the continuation of being at a crossroads in that city.